All right, guys, God bless you and welcome to This Is It. Let's get right into it, guys. All right, so first things first. You'll see what's going on over here. These are these giant whiteboards. There's two of them. And we're organizing things kind of like a detective would when he's solving a case and taking all the pieces. Sometimes you'll see in movies where there's all these pictures on the wall and then there's yarn going to all the different intersecting points. That's kind of what we're doing over here, because I'm going to lay this out in a way for all of society to see the absolute guaranteed truth of the Word of God. It is not arguable. When you see it, when it's presented to you, it's so obvious that if you don't see it, something's wrong. That's why Jesus said, I've come to give sight to the blind and to show those that think they see that they are blind. And then the ones that were the Pharisees and the Sadducees, who are the arrogant, cocky, wouldn't listen ones, they said, are you saying that we're blind? To Jesus. And Jesus said, if you were blind, you wouldn't be guilty. But your guilt remains because you claim you can see. And everything I'm showing you on all these walls, all this stuff you're going to see, it's all the same. It all relates. It's all exactly intersecting the Bible, all of it. Every single piece of it intersects the Bible. So it's not going to be arguable because it's too perfect. No human being could have done this. I know I couldn't have done it. There's no way. But I also know that I couldn't lay hands on people that are blind and they see again. But the Lord's had me do that. He's had me lay hands on people that are terminally ill with incurable diseases and they get well. I didn't do that, but it happened through me. So the point I'm trying to make is, I can understand that some things just are overwhelming but just take a moment to say, okay, I'm just going to hear this guy out. I'm just going to put it against the evidence. I'm going to go to the Bible and look at what he shows me. I'm just going to try and say, okay, this is what he's showing me. This is what the Bible says. And just put them together and see if there's any argument. It will be impossible. Okay, now, quick change of pace. The sun seems to be rising and setting at different places with two suns distinctly in the sky. I'm going to show you some videos of that. That is the sign of the coming of the Mahdi. Watch my hands. It's the culmination of a circle. It's the culmination of a circuit or one of the cycles of the earth. So you see my hands as they're coming together, coming up from the pit, and they're intersecting. That's when it's changing over. And then another cycle begins, and it just always goes like this, just like a serpent, like moving through time. On the x-axis, a sine wave moving on the x-axis, moving like a serpent. That's what time moves like. Time moves like a serpent, just on a graph. Okay, now, without getting too deep into all that, because now I want to jump into all this. I can't get into all that right now. We will. But I want you to understand that if there's another sun, where is it coming from? Where does it go? Where does it come from? What is it exactly? Well, here's what I can tell you, what it says in the Hadith for Islam. The coming of the Mahdi, the hidden Imam, the one that's disguised, the one that's hidden from your sight, veiled from your sight. The coming of the Mahdi, the one that will lead the Islamic Caliphate, the world takeover of Islam, which is going on right now. And y'all know who their leader is. He's inside the United States. Even a guy working in the FBI said they were all being told about this guy, Barack Obama. Okay, now the sun is starting to show up, rising in the place of its setting. And it says in the Hadith, the coming of the Mahdi will be preceded by the sun rising from the place of its setting. Okay, it's going on. It's happening right now. So there's no arguing it. You can dismiss it if you want, say, oh, I don't believe that. But then let's look at Obama's logo. Okay, got the Statue of Liberty facing east. There's Obama's logo, the O like the sun, rising over the stripes of the American flag. And then Joe Biden's logo for president was the continuation of the sun rising, the letter O. That's who ran Joe Biden's third term, was Obama, the Antichrist. It's so stupid obvious. Watch. Okay, there it is. Now that is a progression of the sun rising. Now let me ask you this. Have I been showing you all that for a decade, over a decade? It's just a yes or no answer. The answer is just go back and look at the old videos because it's part of the record now. Okay, so now let's see where we're at like right now. Ready? We're going to go to a couple of these videos where the sun is doing what the prophecy of, the Quran or the Hadith is, that the coming of the Mahdi shall be preceded by the sun rising from the place of its setting. Okay. So here's one video. Now, a lot of people may think that's a sundog or something. Just keep watching. You're going to see 4 different videos. Okay. And you can go to the guy's channel, Minutes of Horror. He's got a pretty good video on this whole thing.
And isn't it just so interesting how that happens to look like the MasterCard logo? Really makes you...
Yes, it is. And it shows the intersecting of the two. Isn't that fascinating?
Wonder where these companies, these organizations, get the idea behind these designs. But anyway, going back to the second object either coming out of the sun or coming from behind the sun, multiple people were capturing video footage of the second object, and what happens to be interesting is that this object has its own glare. It has its own lens reflection.
Guys, will you stop to appreciate the good... Whoa! That isn't even the reflection of the window, guys, because I've got the window open. What is that next to the sun? I was just saying, when we stop to appreciate the small things in life, i.e. the gorgeous sunsets, and now I've just spotted, what is that? Oh my God, guys, what is that? Please put your camera at the front of the sun right now and tell me that you're seeing what I see. What the hell?
Okay, so now she's watching the sun going down. Let me see if one sec. So she's watching the sun set, but there's another sun coming up where the other sun is going down. Sun rising from the place of its setting. See this one right here? This is the sun going down. This is what she sees, the sun going down, the sunset. And then there's this thing.
The fuck is that? No, it can't be.
So could that be the sun rising from the place of its setting? Well, what does it look like? It looks like some other kind of sun, some other heavenly body, or something that's part of the system that you don't know about. But either way, it is the sun, and it looks like it's rising from the place of its setting. Now, here's another very compelling video. This is the girl sees the sun over there, and then the moon's right above there, but the sunset's over there. So it's like, wait a minute. There's this strange, non-synchronistic thing with the sun rising with different suns. Now watch. Let's just watch.
Oh my God, guys, what is that? Open your cameras right now, zoom in to the sun, and tell me what that thing is next to it.
Then I saw this interesting video from...
Okay, now see, this is very interesting because look, I'm going to watch my cursor. It starts birthing like another sun, and then it bursts out of it. So I don't know, I'm just showing you the videos. Okay, so now I'm going to quote the Bible. There will be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. Nations will be perplexed. Does that sound about right? This is all the coming of the Son of Man. So there will be distress of nations. Is there distress of nations? Yes. The sun, there will be sign in the sun, the moon, and the stars. Are there signs in the sun and the moon and the stars? Yeah. You will see those things coming on the earth. Are there things coming on the earth like UAPs, orbs? Yes or no? Absolutely. Every single thing I've said is happening. And there's evidence, and there's irrefutable evidence. And now we have all this that is all biblical, that the Lord gave me all the moving parts. I can show you exactly who we are, where we came from, why we're here, and what the end result is if you don't get out of the snare set by the twin female energy. Came up from a pit, set the host body system as a snare. So then the angels that wanted to come into it, they come in, they get inverted, and then their energy. Okay, so you have energy that's attached to heaven, yes. Your soul, yes, it's attached to heaven. Then the host body that's from the abyss, the spirit of Elohim moved over the waters of the abyss, and it formed a host body system. In the image of Elohim created he him, male and female created he them, and then they formed the host body system. Just like the Ozzy Osbourne thing, the serpents comes up from the abyss, 2 females, and then it forms a host body system that's the serpent. I mean, they put it in stuff all around you. It's right in front of your face. So one of the ways I know someone's not converted is they're still asleep and they don't see that it's everywhere. Because when you've been set apart from it, then you can look back at it. You have to be set apart from it to be able to look back at it and go, oh my God. It's just like the Virgin. If you don't turn it upside down, you'll never know it was a dead sheep. So did you know the truth even on one image that's the Virgin? No, you knew half the truth. It was a half truth. You got to invert it to see the rest. Okay. Anyway, so back to the sun. Yes, is the sun... looks like maybe it's rising from the place of its setting. Is the sun doing some weird stuff? Let's watch this other video right here. I think this one's real good. There's this girl in Houston. One moment. Let me find it. Okay, again, think of the Obama logo, the sun rising from the place of its setting. That's what Obama's logo is. It is the sun. Obama's logo, the O. His letter O is the sun rising over the stripes of the American flag, which is the West. And he happened to be the ruler of the West from the inside. And he didn't even have a U.S. citizenship. He's married to a guy. They have fake children. Is any of this like rattling your cage yet? I mean, are you like, oh, that's weird? Yeah, it is weird. It's real weird. That's because he's the Mahdi. He's the Hidden Imam. Remember Biden? I have lunch once every Wednesday with my special Islamic teacher. Talking about the Hidden Imam. Joe Biden talking about the Hidden Imam. I think Joe Biden was probably drugged most of his presidency, and they just used him as the puppet to do whatever they wanted. It looks pretty obvious. Just watch him talk. Okay, now let's go back. Sorry, let's just stay on task. What is Obama's logo? The sun rising from the place of its setting. That's Obama's logo.
No, that's not the moon. The moon is above us. I don't see that.
Okay, now take a look how weird that looks. Does that look like a normal sun? No. Look at that. Okay. I wonder if you can feel heat coming from that direction. That would be interesting. Okay, now watch.
That's there. And that's not the sun. That can't be the sun because the sunset is over there.
Hey, that's a planet.
The sunset is over there.
See, you can tell, look right here. You can tell the sunset is right below my arch. See right here, the brighter light. So here's the sunset right here. So then you have this other one. Let's see. Watch. Let's see. Sorry, guys.
And that's not the sun. That can't be the sun because the sunset is over there.
Hey, that's a planet.
The sunset is over there.
Mommy, that's a planet.
And the moon is up here.
I think I caught it, guys. Watch this. She says the sunset's over there. Watch.
It's over there.
Hey, that's a planet.
The sun.
Okay, you see over here? It's more over to the right. It's not right here. It's more over this way.
Sunset is over there.
Mommy, that's a planet.
And the moon is up here.
So that must be a planet.
The moon is above us. I don't see. That's there. That's there.
So we have the...
So there you go. Now, again, What does that mean? Well, again, let me show you the Hadith.
Red sphere, and then to the west.
Searching for the Hadith thing, I ran across this. Lahaina in Hawaiian means cruel, merciless sun. Remember, and they had a big directed do weapon, remember? Cruel, merciless sun. What happened in Lahaina? Okay, now, look at what you're looking at. Try and understand what you're about to hear. Barack Hussein Obama's logo is the sun rising from the place of its setting. That is his logo. So that's all of Islam would worship that guy. All of Islam would worship that person. Let me show you again, just for the record, his logo. For the record, before I show you the Hadith. Okay, Barack Obama's logo, the letter O, right here, rising over the stripes of the American flag. This is it right there. Joe Biden shows the continuation of Obama's logo. It's an inside job. They take over from the inside. Okay, now, ready? Let's go to the bombshell. Here it is. It's, this says, Sahih Muslim, the Book of Faith, the Hadith. So, it's right here. It says what it is, what we're reading. The Sahih Muslim, the Book of Faith, Hadith. Now, ready? Here's all their writing over here. I'm just going to stretch it out. Now, listen. Do you know where the sun goes? They replied, Allah and his apostle know best. The holy prophet observed, verily, the sun glides till it reaches its resting place under the throne. Then it falls prostrate and remains there until it is asked, rise up and go to the place from whence you came. Rise up and go to the place from whence you came. And it goes back and continues emerging out from its rising place, and then glides till it reaches the place of rest under the throne, and falls prostrate and remains in that state until it is asked. Okay, ready? Why do you think they're all on their face praying to the ground? It's the pit rising, guys. That the word Allah in Hebrew means to rise. It's in Isaiah 14. I will ascend, I will rise, Allah, above the princes of El, or above the heights. Rise up and return to the place from which you came, and it returns, and it emerges from its rising place. Okay, it says it right there. Okay, here we go.
Sun, that can't be the sun because the sunset is over there.
Hey, that's a planet.
The sunset is over there.
Mommy, that's a planet.
And this guy...
This was another image that was caught the day before. So yeah, all this stuff is very odd. Why can we not see the sky, or parts of the sky are covered with smoke and sand and you name it, while this crazy geomagnetic storm goes off and we have these sightings of this really weird red thing just hanging out in the sky. Anyways, if you get a camera, be ready to take some...
All right, so anyway, so we have established that there looks for sure like there's another sun in the sky. The coming of the Mahdi, the Islamic takeover of the world, will be preceded by the sun rising from the place of its setting. Okay, I've shown you all the data. It's there. I love you in Christ. There's all these people that like to come and argue. I'm like, okay, you can argue with truth, but truth doesn't need to argue back. There's people that come here and defend Catholicism, even though they meet inside of a giant snake that's killing angels. See, they're going to defend their side of the coin no matter what. We just pray for them. That's all you can do. But to defend what's indefensible is just, that's their lot. I'm sorry, but it is. I'm just being honest. That's the side of the coin that they chose. All right. So peace and grace. I love you guys. For the record, people are talking about the St. Malachi prophecy. I'm not saying I believe or don't believe in the St. Malachi prophecy. I'm saying that the current Pope, his name, Pope Leo, with 2 hidden lions right on his vestments, They're in the folder I showed you. His vestments have 2 lions right on his shoulder. Pope Leo in Jewish gematria, like our king is the king of the Jews. Pope Leo in Jewish gematria is the same as Peter, the rock. The number's 250, same as Peter. Okay, they said his last pope, according to St. Malachi, is Peter the Roman. So 250 in Jewish gematria means Peter, same as Pope Leo. There's your Peter. And then he openly said, I am Roman. You heard him say it. So he's Peter the Roman. Now, he has ancestry that's black. Okay, well, am I saying that you have to be black in color? The word black pope basically means a military arm of the Jesuit order of Catholicism. They're like the military police in the Catholic Church. But he happens to be black. I've seen the way God does things. So if there's some prophecy by St. Malachi that's supposed to actually happen, it'll happen. Well, it's kind of odd that his name, Pope Leo, is 250 and so is Peter in Jewish gematria. That's just a fact. Look it up. It's kind of weird that he happens to be black descent, but he didn't let anybody know. Just like Obama. Okay, you know, there's who's your real daddy? Where are you really from? Where's your birth certificate? Okay, so there's this obfuscation of who they are, where they're from. All that good stuff is obfuscated. There's no doubt about it. Okay, and the Pope. So Leo, Pope Leo, is Peter in Jewish gematria. And then he says, I'm Roman. Peter the Roman. Okay, so now does that fulfill the prophecy of St. Malachi? Well, it does if he's the last Pope. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But the words in the gematria sufficiently fill that prophetic thing from Malachi. So anyway, do what you want with it. I'm not sitting there, I believe in the prophecy of St. Malachi. I'm saying it's very odd that this Pope happens to have all the accoutrements necessary to fulfill that prophecy. Okay, now, we are working diligently on this sheep thing. The sheep thing is the whole thing. Because we're God's sheep. Do you understand? He has gone out to find his lost sheep. I'm one of them. And I got found in 2002. And I became a harbinger. And he showed me that you were predestined for this your whole life. And he's right, because everything in my life proves it. So anyway, we're going to keep moving forward to the end of this. But the sun apparently is rising from the place of its setting, according to videos that are flooding into the internet and social media. Okay. Now, my bear has been on hiatus because he's MIA, but I think we all need a bear hug. We had to redo this room so we could get it ready for this delivery, and a lot of stuff has kind of been put in other places. I will get the bear back because I know I need a hug. Bad. Need a big hug. All right, so big bear hugs from Johnny to all you guys. And then let's just keep going, guys. We got to keep going until the end of this. But how far could it be? You know what I mean?